नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशकारिणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्से नमः निराचलनिवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीं उत्तमाश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी मुखं करोति वाचालं मंगलते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणे। Rathai, on chariots, Kwapi, somewhere, Vicharantam, riding, Gadagrajam, Lord Krishna, the elder brother of Gada, Kwachin, somewhere, Shayanam, lying, Paryanke, on his bed, Stuyamanam, being praised, Cha, and Vandidhi by bards. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. In one place, Lord Gadagraja was riding on horses, elephants and chariots, and in another place, he was resting on his bed while bards recited his glories. Please repeat. In one place, Lord Gadagraja was riding on horses, elephants and chariots. And in another place, he was resting on his bed while bards recited his glories. But Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti points out that riding on horses and elephants is a noon activity, whereas one lies down during the later part of the night. So in this slok there is not much to be explained. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamti rayet nashtaprayashvatreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavate uttama shloke bhaktir bhaktinesh. So this shloka, this chapter is all about English is comfortable? So this chapter is all about Lord Krishna's activities. So it is said that Narad Muni was not able to visit when Lord Krishna married 16,000 wives. At that time, he was busy somewhere, maybe he was doing some other task. So then he thought that how Lord is residing with his 16,108 wives. So one day he made a plan to visit Dwarka. And when he reached Dwarka, he saw that Lord Krishna has expanded himself into 16,108 forms. And he is residing in different palaces with his queens and engaged in different activities. So these are the descriptions of different activities that Lord Krishna is performing. So in this particular shloka it is said that Ashwar Gade Rati Kwapi Vicharantam Gadagraja, Lord Gadagraja, the elder brother of Gada. So somewhere he was Vicharantam, he was sitting on his chariot, or somewhere he was either on Ashwar, Gajai or Ratha. Somewhere he was riding on Ashwa, means horse. Somewhere he was riding on Gajai, means elephant. Or somewhere on Rathai, Vicharantam, he was riding, he was moving around. And Kochit Chayanam Paryanke Stuyamanam Cha Vandidhi. And somewhere he was lying down his bed and he was taking rest while the bards were singing his glories. So Vishwanath Chakravarti points out that riding on horses, elephants or chariot is a noontime activity, whereas lying down bed is the night activity. The question arises how Vishwanath Chakravarti knows this. So it is said that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, whatever commentary he has written, what is the name of the commentary that Vishwanath Chakravarti has written? Sara Darshini. So his Bhagavad Gita commentary is Sara Varshini and his Bhagavatam commentary is Sara Darshini. So it is said that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, whatever leelas are being performed by the Lord, so while Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur was writing the commentary, he was actually seeing face to face. He was just seeing before what all leelas are going on, and therefore he was able to write in that direction. The wonderful example that we get from Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, when Lord Krishna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So Bhishma is pointing out the arrows on Krishna, and then arrows were piercing the body of Lord Krishna, and the blood was coming. And so this particular scene, Srila Prabhupada writes in his commentary that what Vishwanath Chakravarti wrote in the Sara questioning. He said that if somebody will pierce someone's body with arrows, so that will give him pain. But to Krishna it was giving him pleasure. Just like when gopis were putting flowers on the Krishna, so he was enjoying, he was relishing. Similarly, when Bhishu Pitama was piercing the body of Krishna with arrows, he was relishing. So why he was relishing? And the analogy Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes is a very drastic analogy. He says, just like out of sexual passion, the paramour bites the body of her lover and the lover enjoys. Similarly, when Bhishma Pitama was piercing the body of Krishna with his arrows, so Lord Krishna was actually relishing that. So how could Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur give that sort of analogy? Because he could see that. What sort of pleasure is going in Krishna's mind, so he could see that. So that's the beauty of the purports given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It's the beauty of the commentary given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And therefore he is called Rasa Acharya. Because he could actually taste the mellow, and one who can taste the mellow can actually make others to taste the mellow. If somebody can, where I was listening somewhere, who can cook nicely, who can eat nicely, who have taste, who can actually find out is this good or not, then he can cook nicely and he can serve nicely. So similarly, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur could relish the taste himself, and therefore he was able to distribute the taste to others. So this is the beauty of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Srimad Bhagavatam purports commentaries. So well, there is not much to be discussed in that shloka, so I have made some other points, so I will share it. So it is said that just like Lord Krishna's pastimes are all purifying, the pastimes of his devotees are also all purifying. Just like when Lord Krishna appears in this world, so everything becomes so auspicious. When the pure devotee descends to this world, everything becomes auspicious. And when a pure devotee leaves this world, again it's all auspicious in all senses. So just recently His Holiness Kadamba Swami Maharaj, he left his body. So when we were not knowing much about him, we never heard his lectures, we just heard his kirtans. But at least in all these days we could get to know more about him. So that is the actually kind of disappearance. Pastimes also help us to enhance our own Krishna consciousness. So in due course, in like 2-3 days, I was hearing from him and I was reading some of his quotes. So I have collected some points, so I would like to share. So I was just listening to the last message that Kadamba Maharaja actually gave. So he was telling that he started with the description of Srimad Bhagavatam. He said that Parikshit Maharaj, the whole story, that when Kali came and he wanted to get some space in Parikshit's region, where Parikshit said where there is meat eating, where there is gambling, where there is intoxication, illicit sex, so you should stay there. And then all these places were not there. So then Kadamba Maharaj said that, so these are the 4 places of sin, and here actually Srila Prabhupada actually points out that one must follow 4 regulatory principles. So from here he has actually derived that. And then Maharaj said that simple thing, follow the 4 regulatory principles and chant 16 rounds of at least 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Now someone may say that like it's so exalted devotee, but just saying simple things, because it is actually not simple. If we really try to find out, it's actually not simple to follow 4 regulatory principles very seriously and strictly, and to chant 16 rounds. 16 rounds means 16,000 times we sleep in 16 rounds. We have, is it not 16,000 times we get distracted in 16 rounds? It's not very easy. So therefore we will find all the exalted Vaishnavas, they speak very simple things, because they know the key. If Nam, Roop, Guna, Lila, I was reading somewhere in that book written by Mula Prakriti Devidasi. So there she different anecdotes of different realization of Srila Prabhupada's God brothers. So I was reading from I think I just forgot the name, maybe Narayan Maharaj. So he was saying that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur as well as Srila Prabhupada, so never encourage prematurely imagining or meditating on Krishna's pastimes, because although they were relishing it within themselves, but they never encouraged, because we all are neophytes. So what they encourage is to take our process of devotional service seriously. Why? Because if gradually our chanting will become pure, Nama, then it will gradually Rupa will realize Rupa, Guna and Leela. But if we try to prematurely meditate on pastimes of the Lord, so we'll simply sleep, that's all. So very practical, our acharyas are very practical. So similarly, Kanana Maharaj said that you just focus on your process of devotional service, and one day we'll meet, Maharaj was saying, we'll meet on other side. So we'll be partying with Krishna there. So he was so confident that if I'll follow the process that is given by Srila Prabhupada. What is the process? Just chant 16 hours of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, follow 4 regulatory principles, and just practice devotion service, just get into it. In one of his message I was hearing, Maharaj was saying, one must take the ownership of the project, ownership of this is my service and I have to do it in any situation. So if that sort of attitude is there, so then gradually devotee advances in Krishna consciousness. So this is a very important thing. Actually, once Srila Prabhupada was saying that whom do you consider devotee? Devotee means that one who chants, is he a devotee? So Prabhupada said no. Prabhupada said one who is chanting and eating and sleeping, he thinks he's a devotee. No, he's not a devotee. Who is a devotee? So Prabhupada said just like Hanuman or Arjun who is fighting for Krishna, he is a devotee. So the conception of Krishna consciousness or conception of spiritual life for outsiders is, spiritual life is meant for being peaceful. Spiritual life means peaceful. But those who are into the system, we all know how much peaceful it is. Is it not? Is Krishna consciousness really peaceful? For outsiders it is peaceful. Why we want spirituality? To get peace. But those who are into Krishna consciousness, are they really peaceful? Right from the starting in the right in the morning, problem starts coming. Subah hote hi shuru ho jati problems. Where is peace? Krishna consciousness, the peacefulness that what outsiders are actually desiring for, is also a kind of sense gratification. Because peacefulness, I want to become peaceful. Why I want to become peaceful? So that I can prepare for next sense gratification activities. Therefore I want to be peaceful. But for devotees, there is no question of peace. Where is the question of peace for Arjun? Many times this question is coming up, while sometimes we have seen our students are also asking these questions. Like Krishna consciousness, like our parents are not allowing us to practice Krishna consciousness. I said, whatever Krishna has done in his pastimes are extreme cases. So for example, the torture that one can endure, the extreme example of Prahlad has been set down. If somebody is saying, my parents are not allowing me to practice Krishna consciousness, the example of Prahlad is there. At least your father is not putting you from the hilltop. At least your father is not putting you on fire. At least he is not giving you poison. So that means the extreme example has been set down. When you want to practice Krishna consciousness, you will have to fight your family, you will have to fight your society, you will have to fight everyone. The extreme example has been set down by Arjun. Where is peace? So therefore, Krishna consciousness is not actually what we consider peace outside, like spirituality is for becoming peaceful. No. Our whole process is to fight. Arjun was never peaceful, Hanuman was never peaceful. They were always in constant anxiety. And that constant anxiety that I need to do this service is actually what Krishna consciousness means. And of course, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said that Tomar seva dukhoyat seho to parama sukha. If I am taking some sort of pain in your service, that is greatest pleasure. And then it is also said, I was reading in that book, it's a very beautiful book written by Mula Prakriti Devi Dasi. I was just reading it. Srila Prabhupada's contemporaries, what they had to say about Srila Prabhupada. So once I was reading that Narayana Maharaj, he told Srila Prabhupada during his Grihastha period, he said that, Abhay Babu, you are a physician, you are a chemist, you have all sorts of tonics. So what sometimes Prabhupada used to make some tonic, some brain tonic, so it was a conversation between OBL Kapoor and Srila Prabhupada. You know OBL Kapoor is a disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. OBL Kapoor. So he was saying that to Srila Prabhupada, Abhay Babu, you are a chemist and you are making different tonics. Sometimes Prabhupada used to test his tonics on OBL Kapoor. He used to make some tonic, he used to give him some brain tonic. So because OBL Kapoor, he was a professor. So Prabhupada used to make some tonics and he used to give it to him. And he used to drink that tonic. He said, oh, it's actually working very nicely. So one day he said that, Abhay Babu, you are making all different sort of tonics, but one tonic you have, you're not sharing it with me. And Prabhupada said, which tonic? You have the tonic of Krishna Prem. And you are not giving it to me. So Prabhupada at that time didn't say anything. After a few days he said, actually, do you want to know that process of making that tonic, Krishna Prem tonic? So said, OBL Kapoor said, yes, please tell. He said, Trinadapi Sunichena Taro Reva Sahishuna. So that was, he said, this is the ingredients of the tonic. If you'll have this ingredient, then easily you can make tonic for Krishna Prem. So that is how it was saying. So Taro Reva Sahishuna is very important in that regard. I was just reading one quote by Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj. He says, tolerance means to fix our mind, words and action on a higher principle. To fix our mind, words and action on higher principle. So our Krishna consciousness means that we need to take pain for Krishna service, we need to take responsibility for Krishna service, we need to own a project for Krishna service, and no matter what happens we have to continue it. That means we need to have this quality of tolerance. But then how to enhance that quality of tolerance? So here is the formula. If we'll always focus on something higher, then we'll be able to have this, we'll have strength to tolerate which is not that higher. So for example, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to give this example. He used to say that if you have cut on a finger, or and house is on fire, what you will do? What will be your priority? You got a cut on your finger and house is on fire. What are you going to do? Save the house. You'll forget about finger. Why? It's not that important. You'll be able to tolerate that pain. Why? Because you have bigger pain. So when people say that we are in anxiety, we are in stress, we are in depression, the formula of depression is you take bigger depression. The formula for stress management is you take bigger stress. Then you will be always thinking about bigger stress, you will forget about small stress. How practical these things are. Like if I am facing certain sort of pain, if I want to forget that pain, so let me enhance my vision and let me see the pain of others. Then gradually what will happen? I'll forget my pain. And therefore we see that when we ask, like Prabhupada used to say that Lord Jesus Christ, he could tolerate so much. So this tolerance and compassion, titikshava karuna, karunika, or these are all what we say, collateral sort of. Titikshava karunika. Who can be compassionate? He can be tolerant. If somebody is able to tolerate his own discomfort, then he can show compassion to others. Shri Shri Krishna Balram ki jai. So Prabhupada used to say Lord Jesus Christ was so compassionate. He was so compassionate that he could forget by realizing the pain of others, he could forget his own pain. That is the secret. How one can forget his own pain? If somebody will start thinking about others' pain, he'll forget his own pain. Actually, outsiders, they do not know this. People do not know this secret. So when they are in pain, so they try to subdue their pain by some mechanical means. But that is not the right strategy actually. The right strategy is, if somebody is in pain, if I want to come out of my pain, instead of thinking about my pain, I should start realizing about others' pain. Then gradually I'll forget my pain. And many people, even in the material world, has done that. They have opened NGOs, they have opened hospitals, schools, and they are always thinking about others' pain. And gradually they forget their own pain. When they start thinking about others' stress and distress, they forget about their distress. So tolerance and compassion go side by side. Titikchava Karunika. So when Maharaj was saying that one must own a project, own some service, that means in due course of his service, he'll have to endure so much pain, so much tolerance, then he'll be able to do that. If one will gradually go on in that direction, if he'll continue, then one day he'll be able to see Krishna face to face. So simple instruction. Then I was also hearing Kanana Maharaj's conversation with Bhakti Vikas Maharaj. Yesterday I shared. So Maharaj was saying, he was saying, I have no fear of death. So then Bhakti Vikas Maharaj said, how come? Like, it is not easy thing to say that someone is saying, I have no fear of death. He is entering into the mouth of death, but he has no fear. Why is not fear? He said that all my life I have tried to be free from sinful acts, and all my tried I have sincerely practiced Krishna consciousness. So now I am confident that I'll go back to Krishna. So here is an example for all of us, that this is a contemporary example. When we say that Acharyas set an example, they teach by example, what does it mean? When it is said that Acharyas teach by example, what does it mean? So Acharyas teach by example, it means they teach how to live and they teach how to die. So this is the very practical experience that we can see, like how he prepared himself for death, and very peacefully he gave up his body remembering Krishna. So this is a practical example that we all need to follow. We all can follow actually. It's not a rocket science. In Bhagavatam we see, okay, Parikshit Maharaj was preparing for death. But Parikshit Maharaj 5,000 years back, who knows? We haven't seen. At that time this mobile video recording was not available. If we could have seen Parikshit Maharaj, how he was preparing for death and how he was actually dying. But today we can, because of this technology, help of this technology, we can see practically before our eyes how these pure devotees are giving up their bodies, constantly meditating upon Krishna. We can see how Prabhupada left his body, we can see how Maharaj left his body. So this technology is actually helping us to become more Krishna conscious. Now we have this practical example. What he did, what has to be done? Do we need to go to Himalayas? Do we need to go to rivers? No. He simply said, just chant 16 rounds, follow 4-8 principle, and practice your Krishna consciousness seriously. And I am guaranteeing you, just like Bhaktivedanta Maharaj used to say, that this particular moment, I am relishing a lot. Even if you will give me millions of dollars, I will not exchange this moment with you. Apparently, from outsiders' point of view, from medical science point of view, he was enduring so much pain. But within his heart, he was relishing ecstasy. Why? The only reason is he has sincerely practiced his Krishna consciousness throughout his life. And the result is, we all have this in front of us, the result is there. So that is actually giving us hope. For devotees means what actually we are We all are preparing for death. It's all, Srimad Bhagavatam is art of dying. Parikshit Maharaj was preparing for death. We all are here, we are learning how to die. And we have the successful examples. Now in a university, if you go, what we try to find out, who are the successful students? Alumni of this institution who are successful, placed nicely. Seeing them, we get admission into the institute. Similarly, this ISKCON is an institution and we have successful alumni. They have passed their exams with high grades and they got good placement in Krishna's world. So we have this practical example before us. So we know this institution is bona fide. This institution is bona fide. What we need to do is we have to study nicely, that's all. If we'll study nicely, it'll appear, exam will anyways come. If we'll study nicely, and somewhere I was hearing that those who are sincere students, they're never afraid of exams. Those who are sincere students, they're never afraid of exams. So when Maharaj is saying, I am not afraid of death, what does it mean? He was a sincere student throughout his life. And therefore he was not afraid of the final exam. At present moment, if somebody will ask us, are we really afraid of death? Are we not afraid of it? We will say, no, we are afraid. Why? Because we know that we are actually not sincere students. We have not practiced nicely. We have not memorized our lessons nicely. And therefore we are afraid. So here we have examples of some good students, those who have followed the principles throughout their life, and therefore when final exams are there, he's saying, we are not afraid. We are sure that we are going to Krishna. And not even we are sure, he was saying, not even I am sure that I am going to Krishna. You all will also join me there. Provided you follow, you learn your lessons nicely. So good example. Then Maharaj was talking about Tibrena Bhakti Yogena. What we need to do is one thing. We need to intensify our devotion service. Tibrena. Same thing. Just like there are two people. One is, he is digging the mud in different directions, different areas, 2 feet, 3 feet. And one person is digging and then water is coming out. So it is not that we need to expand our activities, we need to deepen our activities. Same chanting, same hearing, same reading, same services, simply deepening. We can see, we have seen Srila Prabhupada disciples, same service throughout their lives. If somebody is cooking for entire life, I forgot her name, Mataji. She was preparing sweets for Krishna. And in Bhaktivedanta manner. And then she gave up her body just in the Brahma Muhurat of Janmashtami. Then His Holiness Bhakticharu Maharaj said that she'll go back to Krishna. Why she went on that particular day? Because she'll prepare sweets there for Krishna. So it's not about expanding our field of activities, it's all about deepening our activities. And we have these practical examples. And then also I was just here reading one of his quote. He said that nobody is perfect. You cannot expect perfection. Because the moment will always, if we are always thinking about our imperfections, then at one moment we'll become frustrated. See, nobody is perfect. The example is, even moon is not perfect. It has some spots. Ocean looks so beautiful, but it is salty. So it is not perfect. So what is perfect? So nothing is perfect. We cannot expect perfection. Then what we can expect, what we need to do is, it's not that we are not, Maharaj said, we are not striving for perfection in a way that I want to become something of what perfect devotee sort of. Because even if we are trying, but it's not in our hand. So Maharaj said there's an alternative. Perfection actually means at every moment we should try to seek shelter. Seeking shelter means seeking shelter of holy name, seeking shelter of Bhagavatam, seeking shelter of Prasadam, seeking shelter of devotees. Instead of trying for perfection, because even if when we'll reflect back, we have tried so much but we have not become perfect, then we'll become frustrated. But instead, if we'll try to take shelter, I'm not able to do that, what can I do? Let me take shelter. And then what will happen? So this is the actually formula.
at every moment we need to take shelter. And then I'll just read that quote for all of you. It's a very important quote. So it's all about taking shelter. Maharaj is saying, I just meditate on mercy. The point is that we have to appreciate that this is mercy movement, and we somehow or other just take shelter constantly. By own endeavors, our own endeavor is just for taking shelter, and gradually we will receive mercy. We do not measure ourselves all the time. But one very important point, we do not measure ourselves all the time, because if we start measuring ourselves, we will always fall short, and then we will become increasingly frustrated. So what we need not have to do? We do not have to measure. That's all. We have to measure in a sense, for our improvement we can measure a little bit. But we must not have that sort of measurement attitude. What we need to do is, we need to take shelter. So there is no need for measuring. Instead, we just take shelter. Take shelter of holy name, take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, take shelter of devotees, take shelter of prasadam, and take shelter of devotional service. This is what we need to prepare for. That's all. And then what will be the result? And then what is death? It is just a change of service. Death means it's a change of service. And of course, every service is a preparation for greater service. Every service is a preparation for greater service. It is said, wages for service is more service. Wages for service is more service. You have one service. If Krishna likes that service, then increase your service. If you like that service, then even increase more service. So wages for service is more service, more service, more service, more responsibilities, more headache, more problems, more tension. That means Krishna is actually, like we have, many times we have heard this. Like if there are two kids, one is saying, Papa, I love you, I love you, I love you. Another kid, he's not saying I love you, but he's constantly meditating, how can I help my father? So who is actually who is actually loving his father more? The one who is not saying anything, but he's constantly meditating, how can I assist my father? Similarly, devotional service does not mean like, let me keep aside all responsibilities, let me just focus on my devotional service, so-called devotional service. Many times we heard our senior devotees have told like this, like they said that we need to take responsibility on behalf of Srila Prabhupada, on behalf of Krishna. Let us try to meditate how we can reduce their pressure, how we can reduce their headache, their pain. Simply by doing this, will become recipient of their mercy. And now we are taking we are trying to assist them by taking their responsibility on shoulders. How to make our shoulder, like, then what will happen? At certain points will become, more and more pain is there. What will happen? We'll feel breakdown. So then we are chanting, hearing, taking shelter of holy name, taking shelter of Bhagavatam for what? For it is acting like Chaman Prash. It is actually acting like Chaman, so that we can hold that burden. It's burden of love for our spiritual master. So our chanting, hearing, reading is not independent of Guru's service. There is a difference. Being an institution and practicing devotional service, chanting, hearing, reading, and going to Radhakund, leaving apart everything and doing there. There is a difference. What is the difference? Within the movement, within the society, ISKCON, we are chanting, we are hearing, we are reading. For what? We are preparing ourselves for higher responsibilities. if we'll take these responsibilities, we are actually sharing the burden of Srila Prabhupada. And by his mercy, we'll go back home, back to Godhead. And going independently, leaving aside all responsibilities, let me now focus on my bhajan. That bhajan is useless. It is not I am saying, I have heard many senior devotees, many acharyas speaking like this. Our practice of Krishna consciousness, our reading everything is meant to prepare ourselves to take more responsibilities on behalf of Krishna. Not keeping aside everything, or let me forget, now I must be peaceful and focus on another. No. There's a vast difference between two sorts of bhajan. Is it not? This is the difference. Huh? That Nirjan bhajan is really Bhakti Thakur always discouraged. Kanana was also saying that one must read this Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhav. It's a very important book. We will understand the mood of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur. Actually, there are certain most important books I have seen, but devotees are forgetting it. And we do not have that sort of library here. We must have actually, like Prabhupada Lilamrit. We must have, at least we have 100 biographies of Prabhupada, the realization of disciples of Srila Prabhupada, their memories with Prabhupada. They are most important books, Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhav. All these books are most important books that each and every devotee must read. Why? Because here we are going to learn how these devotees have actually, on behalf of Srila Prabhupada, they have taken responsibilities on their shoulder. And we have seen practically that these devotees, how they have left their body, completely meditating upon Lord Krishna. How could they do that? From where that mercy came? Because they were serving Srila Prabhupada so eagerly, so nicely. So we need to serve Srila Prabhupada. So these are the role models. And therefore these biographies are very important. Just like philosophy is important, reading Prabhupada books are important. Similarly, reading the books of disciples of Prabhupada who have shared memories with Srila Prabhupada, who have spent time with Prabhupada, equally important. Because we'll be able to understand Prabhupada through their lens. Mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada through their lens. It's very important. Therefore, we do not have this book in Odia. If somebody can translate it, it will get fortune. Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhav we do not have in Odia. Bhakti and Prabhupada Lilamrit Odia, not the full version, and whatever is available, we have 1,000 mistakes. So these books are literally very important. Because these books are actually preparing our consciousness how to serve Srila Prabhupada. And therefore we can understand that serving spiritual master and doing bhajan is not two things, it's one thing. It's one. It's actually not two. And Srila Prabhupada has shown this to us practically, and Srila Prabhupada disciples have shown this to us practically. They are not two things, one thing. Hare Krishna.
I would like to. So like you said about Kadamba, one point he also says, and the quote, that devotees over the time they dry up in their devotional service.
Yeah.
So that's because they are not
Reading. Yeah, I made that point, forgot to share. Devotees dry up in their spiritual life in due course of practice because they do not read.
That's so important.
Right. So that means reading is very important. And reading, not just reading. Reading means take highlighter, mark points, important points, make some notes, sticky notes, note down somewhere, read it, reflect it, share it with others. Reading means, so that reading has to be there. And because devotees are not reading, therefore in due course of they drift away. It is said that when they drift away with the original ideology that they started with, because they do not read.
And another thing is that he was so much absorbed in this process. His guru, His Holiness Jayadvaita Maharaj, himself is saying, now you don't need to chant your 16 rounds. I understand. When you chant one mantra, that's compared to one round. So you do that. Don't need to chant now 16 rounds. But he said, Guru Maharaj, don't do this injustice to me. I want to follow Srila Prabhupada's process fully till my death. So you are so convinced about this process. And again, today I was hearing His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj. Maharaja was saying that our process is like when you go to market, you want to get the best product in the less price. So this Krishna consciousness is giving us the best thing with the cheapest price. What price are we giving? But instead we are getting the highest thing. Then he is saying when you go to the market, you also have a condition. If somebody can give you a better product in this price or a good product in a cheaper price, we'll take that. So you give that. You sow anything which has a good value with a less price.
Yeah, I was also hearing this last message. Maharaj was saying that so we have got all the, like, even the richest people of this world are pauper. They do not have the real wealth. So we must appreciate this real wealth. Kanana was saying that what Prabhupada has given us is the real wealth and we must appreciate it. So we can see that these devotees have so much appreciation for what Srila Prabhupada has given. And simply by hearing from them, reading from them, our appreciation will enhance. So that is the purpose actually. Ultimately we have to enhance our appreciation for the process that we have received.
And one more thing I want to add. You remember we had one session during the COVID time with Krishna Kshetra Maharaj. That time I asked Maharaj, we are not able to read the books of Srila Prabhupada disciples, or so many books we don't have access, or our mindset is not on reading so much. So Maharaj gave an alternative to Prabhupada memories. Because Mula Prakriti Mataji's all these things are recorded in his memories, our memories. So if we, in case we are not able to get access to the books, we already have access to YouTube. We are hearing all other things. So better to indulge our hearing in this thing, Prabhupada memories.
Prabhupada memories, anecdotes of modern day saint, all the memories. Yeah, all.
Also, if we hear, it will not be over. So many things are recorded.
So this technology is a great boon.
You said that we do not measure ourselves. We just take shelter. And you can say about taking shelter of the holy name, devotee. I can understand taking shelter of a devotee, that you go to him and you serve him, then you receive some knowledge. And how to take shelter of holy name?
Similarly, taking shelter means do not measure. First aspect of taking shelter is do not measure. Just whenever there is, like, taking shelter of holy name, taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, shelter means now nothing in this world can save me except this. That is what actually shelter means. Nothing in this world is now actually able to help me or bring me out of my problems. So let me forget everything else. Now let me focus on whatever process I have received. That is what shelter means. And in due course of our practice, and why Prabhupada is actually very intelligent. Prabhupada has given us so many different varieties of services. While engaging in services, we will see that this material ups and downs are constantly coming. Constantly, like today you'll think, oh, today is a good day. Now I'll means today is a good day, no problems. I'll enjoy my day today. At the moment you'll think like there's something come up. Yesterday in the morning, I told my house owner that somebody has dug a pit before your building. Who done it? I don't know. So he came. He saw that somebody has done it. So he broke that one. That somebody has made a pillar just in front of our building. So he broke that pillar, and then I called him just to make him realize that I am his well-wisher and I am helping him by telling him that somebody has done this. What he said, because you people are not keeping your vehicle here, you are keeping your vehicle inside, so therefore they have come, thought that this is a vacant place. So now I'll put bamboos there, you cannot put your vehicle inside, now you put your vehicle outside. I thought I'll help him. In return, I got this. By the evening, we got to know it was set up by BDA, and this man broke it out. So now BDA is putting case on him. So you can, like every moment problems are coming up, and that we need to realize that nothing can help. Our material adjustment cannot help. what can help is, in fact, we need not have to solve our problems, because even if you solve one problem, what is the big deal? Problems are coming just like the waves of the ocean. So it's not about solving problems, it's about transcending the platform. There are two things. People of this world are solving problems, and Krishna consciousness is teaching us to transcend the problem. There's a big difference. When you transcend the problem, then there is no problem at all. So instead of solving the problem, we need to transcend. We have to come to the higher platform. Then there is no problem at all. So that is what scriptures are teaching us. And governments and other agencies, everybody is trying to solve the problem. So solving the problem, you solve one problem, there is another problem, third problem, fourth problem. You cannot solve throughout your life. Throughout the civilization, people have come and tried to solve, but no problem is solved. None of the problem is solved. So therefore, you need to transcend.
You are explaining nicely Buddhist characters. So initially you have noticed that the finding of identification of the devotee. How we identify?
According to what our acharyas have said, devotee means one who takes responsibility for Krishna. Prabhupada in one of his quotes has said that we did not have to chant independently or hear independently or read independently just by keeping aside our responsibilities. We need to get into the responsibilities, and while practicing, while taking care of those responsibilities, naturally will endure so many material troubles. At that time, to transcend them, we need to practice, we need to chant and hear as well. So both the things. But we cannot leave aside the responsibilities and go for chanting and hearing. That is what Srila Prabhupada actually meant. Prabhupada always wanted his disciple, like, you take responsibilities on my behalf. Responsibility for preaching Krishna consciousness all over the world. Responsibility for running some project. So this responsibility has to be there. That is what Prabhupada actually, by devotee, Prabhupada means soldier. A soldier means he has to fight. We cannot imagine a soldier who is sitting at home. Soldier means fight. So devotee means he is a soldier, and soldier means he has to fight constantly. Hare Krishna. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.